Hey everybody, the Arthur Gaming here. Welcome to my YouTube series, Unusual Characters. In this series, I try and show you two builds of Dungeons & Dragons characters, one class, and two different races. One an optimal race for that class, and one a suboptimal race for that class. This video is going to be on the fighter, one of my favorites. And basically I want to just show you how in the long run choosing a suboptimal race really doesn't matter all that much. So if we go to D&D Beyond and we look at the fighter, I think we all know that we need strength and constitution for a fighter. Strength, constitution. You could also go with the dex-based fighter. So I'm not saying that that's not an option as well. For this one, let's just go with a like sword and board kind of fighter, as they say, shield and sword, strength, constitution based fighter. So we're gonna go create an unassigned character, and this is going to be my I call it the standard fighter, or the optimal fighter. Doesn't really matter which one. Clicking all these guys off here and going next. For a race, so we go over to races here. Dragonborn is strength, charisma, maybe not the best for a fighter. Strength is good, no con bonus though. Dwarf is +2 con, and there is a dwarf that gets a +2 strength bonus. Really the best option. So we're going to look at that. We're going to go with that for our standard one. So we'll go with dwarf, and I believe it's the mountain dwarf. Is that the one that gets the +2 to strength? Strength +2, yep, that's it. So we're going to go with that. So here's our mountain dwarf. We're going to look, as always on D&D Beyond, when you're making your character, look for these blue exclamation points, and that gets rid of, that makes sure you're picking everything you're supposed to be picking. You're not short-changing yourself. We're going to go with the fighter. Again, more things with the blue exclamation points. Again, I don't really care about the skills and stuff here. I'm not going for that part of it. I'm going more for just to kind of show you like combat-wise and spellcasting-wise when it's a spellcasting class. Fighting style here, let's just go with we'll go with protection, right? Protection gives you a +1 to your. No, I'm sorry, not a protection. Defense. Defense gives you a +1 to AC while you're wearing armor. So we'll just go with defense. Abilities, I'm going to use a standard array, so that way both characters are equal in that way. We'll go with our high strength, our high con. We'll go with next into dexterity. We'll say this guy's maybe about kind of charismatic, maybe not so smart though, right? So we'll go with something along those lines. For the fighter, let's choose gladiator, right? We'll go with the gladiator just for the heck of it. We'll give him a skill, we'll give him some musical instruments. Again, check for all your exclamation points. Equipment, we're just going to add some base equipment, mostly because we want to make sure that we have stuff on our character sheet to show for the actions, which I'll show you about that in a minute. We'll go with that, right? We're just going with some standard stuff. And now that will give us our character. Now with our unusual character, let's create our unusual fighter. Right, here's our unusual fighter. Turn these things off. I'm trying to use as much stuff out of just the basic D&D Player's Handbook to show you, because if you get into all the subclasses and stuff in different books and everything, not that anything is necessarily more powerful than anything else. Lots of options. I feel like most people who get on D&D Beyond will have some of these basic Player's Handbook options, and so I don't want to pull out. I do have the other books. I just want to pull out other races and stuff to try and. I want to do something that all of you could also probably do as well. Now, strength and con, right? So that's what we're looking for. So what would be a less than optimal fighter? A gnome, right? An elf, halfling, maybe. Tiefling, definitely way outside it. I think humans generally good for all classes, so I would put them, if you're looking at options for, I'd always put them in like the top 3 or something. So I think they're all generally pretty good for most of the classes. So let's go with, I feel like I keep using some of these over and over and over here. I'm going to go with a tiefling again. I used a tiefling in a previous video, but I'm going to go with tiefling again. I think it fits here as being not a very good fighter, so to speak. So I'll choose the tiefling. Again, fighter right here, right? Add that class. Look for our blue exclamation points. Fighting style, same thing. We're going to go with defense. Defense. Abilities, again, standard array. We'll go 15. We'll go 14. 13. Right, he was not so smart, right? Nope. 10 wisdom, I think it was. We went with, what did we go with here? Did I go with on the, oh, gladiator. Yes, gladiator. Like completely forgot from just a couple minutes ago. Put those in. Blue exclamation points gone. Do our equipment. Go with our chainmail. Go with our longsword. And again, this is just to show you a comparison, as best as we can, a comparison of two classes side by side. So now here we have two characters side by side. One is more optimal. One is less optimal. We're going to take a look and see. So I'm going to let me add my equipment. Let me equip my equipment first, so it'll factor into my character sheet. Should be good. Okay. So if we go back and look now, this guy's badass. Look at him. So standard fighter, your mountain dwarf level 1, already looking at a 19 armor class at level 1, 13 hit points. His crossbow attack is +3 for a die 8 +1, because remember that's based off dex. His longsword attack is +5 for a die 8 +3. So not bad, right? Everything's good there. His longsword attack is obviously very good. You know, if you can get a level 1 character with a +4 or +5 attack, I mean, that's pretty awesome at first level. And now if we look at our unusual fighter, which is our tiefling, again, maybe not very optimal race for our class. 12 hit points compared to what, 13, right? 12 compared to 13. Oh, hang on, I have to equip stuff. Ha. So you can forget things, especially when you get old like me. Okay. So here we are, 12 hit points instead of 13. Armor class is 19, still the same. Our actions, right? So our crossbow is +3 for die 8 +1, and our long. Oh, hang on, I didn't equip my long sword. Where is it? Long. Oh, I chose a long bow. Hang on, let's go back. Hang on a second. Equipment. Not longbow. That's not what I meant to take. Remove. I could have done this through the inventory screen. I don't know why I did it this way. Okay, let's go. Oh, add item at the bottom. Here we go. No idea why I'm doing this the hard way, but anyway, maybe this is just to show you how you can do this way. And I could type. If I could type, I'd be okay. Okay, longsword. So there we go. So you always got to double check your work. You know, sometimes you make a mistake, things come out all jacked up. Okay. All right. So here we go. So with my range attack, I'm +3, die 8 +1. Now here's the difference, right? My melee attack with my longsword is +4 to hit, 1 die 8 +2, compared to +5, 1 die 8 +3. So yes. So the optimal build, your fighter who's got the higher strength, the dwarf, compared to my suboptimal build, is 1 point better to hit and 1 point better in damage. Not that that's not extremely important. I feel at lower levels it's more important. I feel as we level this character up, you're going to see a difference. You're going to see it makes less difference as you go. Especially when you look at the monster manual, who, you know, the maximum ACs in the monster manual is like 21, 22, 23, somewhere in that area. It's not going to make that much of a difference once we start leveling up. Granted, yes, I agree. You have to survive the low levels to get to the high levels. Personally, for me, when I make characters, I try to always plan to level 20. even though I never get there. In 5th edition, I've never played to level 20 yet because I'm always running as I'm always the DM, so I rarely get the chance. So now let's level both these characters to 5. Again, we're gonna do our exclamation points. We're gonna go with let's just go with a champion. I think they're maybe a little less complicated. We're gonna go with an ability score improvement. We're gonna go with strength, obviously, and constitution, obviously. And that's it for that one. Our unusual fighter, same thing, right? We're going to level it up here to 5. We're going to choose champion. And we're going to improve an ability score. We're going to go with strength. And we're going to go with constitution. I'll do this. Okay, so our standard fighter, level 5 mountain dwarf. +2 strength, +2 con for racial bonus, right? Not going to get much better than that for a fighter. Unless you were going dex, then of course, obviously, dex would be a different choice. 49 hit points at level 5. Almost 10 per level. It's pretty good. 19 armor class. And if we look at our attacks, +4 with our range attack for die 8 +1, +7 to hit with die 8 +4. Okay? Not bad. Look at our unusual fighter, 44 hit points. Now here's the difference, right? 5 points difference because they're doing constitution bonuses 1 less on the unusual fighter. 19 AC, still the same. +4 to hit, die 8 +1, +6 to hit, die 8 +3. So we're lagging behind still in melee by 1, and that's because of the strength bonus, right? And that may never catch up. The tiefling may always be 1 point behind the dwarf. But, you know, for me, I'd rather play a cool character. Not that a mountain dwarf fighter can't be a cool character. As if you've watched my other videos, you've probably heard me say this a million times at this point, but I always think about sitting down to a table in public. At like Adventurers League, Gen Con, PAX Unplugged, something along those lines. And sitting down to a table and playing with strangers that I don't know, which is why they're strangers, and pulling out a character and not having everybody at the table be your mountain dwarf fighter, right? Because if everybody's building optimal, where's all the fun in that? Hence the reason why I like to do crazy stuff. And to me, like, I don't know, a tiefling fighter, like some sort of like slightly demonic swashbuckling fighter, I don't know, it just sounds kind of cool to me. So that's the level 5 version. Now we're going to jump it to level 10. And then next we'll jump it to level 20. So we're going to do 4 different builds, or 4 different level progressions on the same build. Again, ability score. We're going to go with strength. We're going to keep hitting strength and con until we can't improve those anymore. Obviously, feats make a big difference in all of this. Lots of things make a big difference in all this. This is just a simple build. I'm not trying to get crazy, complex, weird with it. I'm just trying to do, you know, somewhat easy of a build just to show you some differences. We'll add, let's add dueling in here, right? So we can, again, kind of like a swashbucklery kind of idea. Gives us bonuses to damage as long as you have a melee weapon in one hand and no weapons in your other hand. So the shield is not a weapon, so you can sword and board and duel, which is pretty awesome. We'll go there with that. We'll bring our unusual fighter, and we will break this, level up to 10. Again, ability score improvement. I'm going to go with strength. Going to go with con. Ability score improvement. We're going to go with strength and con. And last but not least, we're going to go with dueling again. All right, so now your standard fighter. Here we are, level 10 Mountain Dwarf, our optimal build. 104 hit points. Pretty darn good, right? Now we've broken that 10 hit points per level barrier that we were so close to before. 19 armor class still hasn't changed. 10 levels now. Armor class has not changed. I mean, obviously, if you got a magic suit of armor or a magic shield, whole other story. But right now, your armor class has been pretty flat. +5 to hit with the crossbow for die 8 +1, and +9 to hit with the longsword for die 8 +7. Notice how our damage jumped up a ton because of the whole dueling thing, right? Our suboptimal, or our unusual fighter, which is our tiefling, 94 hit points. So, yep, we're still 1 hit point per level behind. 19 armor class is the same. +5 to hit for die 8 +1, and +8 for die 8 +6, which, of course, is still 1 behind the other one, right? Still that 1 point behind in both attack and damage, which is probably going to be. Maybe at the level 20 it'll catch up if the standard fighter maxes out his strength, and then this one also maxes out his strength. Maybe it'll catch up to each other. We'll have to see. In fact, that's where we are, so let's do that now. Go back to our builder, and we're going to go to level 20. Again, blue exclamation points. Let's check them all off. So I imagine we're going to max out the strength any second now. Right now. So strength is now no longer an option because you can only go to 20. So I'll go with constitution with this one and dexterity, right? We're going purely physical here. Let's just, and now look, constitution's also maxed out. So we'll go dexterity, and then we'll go dexterity again. This guy's going to be a physical beast by the time I'm done with him. Dexterity, dexterity, and then dexterity, dexterity. So that's level 20 for the optimal build. Now, our suboptimal build may not max out its strength as fast, right? So we'll see. Go here, level it to 20. We're going to ability score improvement, strength, con. Strength, con. See, we did not max out strength yet, which I think it's maxed out now, though. So strength should no longer be an option, and it's not. See, it's gone. So con, dex, right? So we're seeing that this is a little bit behind as far as stats go because you're, again, not picking those optimal stats. And now here our dexterity with strength, con's no longer an option, so it's maxed out its con, and now we got its dexterity, and so now we are good. So level 20, our standard or our optimal build fighter being the Mountain Dwarf. 224 hit points, bestial. Look at those stats. 20, 20, 20 for strength, dex, and con. That's crazy. AC's 19 hasn't changed. Obviously hasn't changed because dexterity can't go up because wearing heavy armor, right? You could, however, if you wanted to at some point, if you realize your dex is going up, you could drop your armor down to like a lighter armor to get rid of some penalties in other areas and to keep your armor class like 19 or ish or so, you know. If you look now, our attacks are +11 for a die 8 +5 and +11 for a die 8 +7. If we look over here, not quite as bestial, right? 20, 16, 20. And then if you look, armor class 19 still. My dex is +9 to hit for die 8 +3, but my longsword's +11 for die 8 +7. So the level 20 optimal build actually ends up being a better ranged attacker in this case because the dex went up compared to the unusual fighter or the tiefling fighter, which ended up with not as good of a range attack, but melee attacks ended up exactly the same. And that's, again, my point. More of my point is that, you know, it doesn't make that big of a difference in the build. So that's pretty much it, guys. We'll wrap this video up here. So this is unusual characters, Dungeons & Dragons, the fighter. As I showed you, 2 different races, suboptimal and optimal build. I hope you found it to be helpful. As always, please subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Comment. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. If there's another kind of series you might like to see or a video you might like to see about something. Check out my Instagram at the Arthur of Gaming. I put up posts about, you know, characters, board games, role-playing games, accessories for like Dungeons & Dragons, like 3D terrain builds. I do lots of 3D terrain builds on there. So if that's the kind of stuff you're interested in, certainly go check that out. And, you know, let me know. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Follow me on like Instagram. As always, everybody, it's a very dangerous world out there, so please stay safe.